This woman was very good at gambling, but she worked in a casino. Her job was to find cheaters. This woman installed a chip at the bottom of her wine glass. These two people were colluding to commit fraud, and this man actually hid a card in his sleeve. Every time she found a player cheating, she would notify the boss via radio, and these cheaters will be taken away by security. Her name was Sarah. She was born with hyperacuity. Not only could she see everything clearly at a distance of 30 kilometers but also clearly observe every pore at close range. She saw a guy in a floral shirt stealing chips from the player next to him. Just as she was about to get there, a man in white took a sit next to the cheater and struck a conversation. Sarah knew they were partners, after noticing the security guards. Then she talked to them to buy more time. Sarah realized that the man in floral shirt was wanted by the police. The award was 5 billion won. She ordered the guards to bring them to a room. Having a closer look at the man in white, she knew his hair and beard were fake. He wasn't a good person. Sarah locked them in the room. Thinking of the big award, she couldn't help laughing. Sarah didn't know that the man in white was Eun Seon-woo, who owned and ran the biggest company in Korea. He disguised himself. Find the thief. Seon-woo asked the thief where he stole the necklace, which was made 20 years, called the Queen's Tear. It was his father's gift to his mother. Someone took her life when he was small. The culprit wasn't caught yet. He disappeared with her necklace. Recently this necklace appeared at the auction. He disguised himself and broke into the place where the auction occurred. In order to find out who sold it, unexpectedly, he was discovered by a bodyguard. Seon-woo took off his mask and fought the guard. He was the youngest chairman who was also a good fighter, so he could easily knock down the opponents. Seon-woo successfully broke into the secret archives. Even though he searched everywhere, he still failed to find out who sold the necklace. Hearing someone's footsteps, he hid behind the locker, but he was discovered by a cute dog. However, a puppy found him and kept jumping at him. He had no choice but to show himself and asked her who sold the necklace. When her puppy came towards her, she hugged it. She pretended to listen to him to find a chance, picking up her gun. Pointing the gun at his head, she pulled the trigger without actually. He found it earlier and kept all the bullets. He looked at the cute puppy, which made her worried. Seon-woo thought he already found the truth. When her henchmen arrived, they saw her being tied on the chair, escaping from the building. Seon-woo didn't see his car parking there, as those men were running after him. He ran away on a pink scooter. Sarah was also running after him, because the pink scooter was her favor. However, its speed was only 5 kilometers per hour. He used the speed to evade into the outside land and broke free. Then he went to find his close friend named Jinamo, who was an attorney-cum-hacker. He found out who sold thanks to the puppy's necklace. If this criminal was wanted by the police, he had to find out where the thief got it as soon as possible, but the thief would tell him only when he could get out of there. Seon-woo asked Jinamo to carry out Plan B. At that time, Sarah was calling the police to arrest them. Suddenly, a man who was struggling as if someone hit him, yet she saw no one around him. He seemed to see a ghost. On the ground, he twisted with pain, and of course, it was Jinamo's play. Jinamo tried to buy more time for Seon-woo and the thief escaping. Sarah slyly slapped him a few times when he laid motionlessly. Finally, Jinamo sat up. He bowed and said sorry, then ran away, leaving Sarah there in awe. Turning around, she realized she lost 5 billion won. Thanks to her special ability, she saw them at the end of the hall. She called the guards to block the ways out of the building. No way out. They could only escape through the rooftop. Seon-woo struck down the thief. To escape from Seon-woo, the thief said he stole it from a celeb's home. When Sarah and the guards reached the rooftop, Seon-woo nabbed the thief to jump to the next building. The thief got scared and took off his shirt. Seon-woo jumped off the rooftop, leaving the loser there. His jump stunned Sarah and the others. Casting a glance down there, Sarah saw him lying on the trunk of a garbage truck. After work, Sarah complained to Nahi about it, that she just lost 5 billion won. One of the criminals escaped. The leader of security team claimed that it was his effort. While Nahi was comforting her, she saw her pink helmet. Her scooter was returned without her helmet. The man wearing her helmet looked so familiar. She remembered the man who jumped off the rooftop. The driver who took him away was the man wearing her helmet. The criminal must have been in the van over there. She wanted her 5 million won back, so that she ran after them. She could see the license plate clearly. On a higher spot, she could see where the van heading to. Later, she saw Seon-woo breaking into someone's home. Thus, she called the police. Her eyes rolled when she saw blood on the bed. Seon-woo sneaked into the celeb's home who kept the necklace. It was apparently a murder. The moment that he realized something wrong, the police arrived and arrested him. However, Seon-woo just sneaked into the home and had no time to commit the crime. He was released because there was no evidences of his crime, and they would put him on a watch or summon him anytime. Sara only knew that was Sian Woo when she read the news. She was afraid of getting into troubles. The next day, she had a discussion with Nahi. Sara wondered if she should tell the police that she had seen the culprit. Nahi asked her not to care. At that time, Nahi received a call from the Department of Residential Management. The host wanted her to move out right away, and paid her double for indemnity. As the host lived in the second floor of the building, Sara went to see the host for a talk. The host was none other than Sian Woo. He was revenging on her. Sian Woo asked Jinamo to handle it on behalf of it. As soon as entering home, Sara uttered a stream of reproach. Even when you're the host, you can't do whatever you want. At least my best friend's efforts cannot be wasted. When Sian Woo showed himself, Sara knew he was taking a revenge on her. Sara threatened him with the matter at the casino. Because the case wasn't solved yet, if his disguise was discovered, it would be even more troublesome. Then she told him what she saw at the night of the murder. Someone dragged a suitcase, which could be an important clue to help him escape suspicion. They made a deal. Sian Woo agreed not to kick Nahi out. Sara decided to help him find the real culprit. When he knew about her ability, he came up with an idea. Sara knew he didn't believe that she was born with hyperacuity, so she firmly said that she looked through the wall and saw a man pulling a suitcase towards the exit. Sian Woo followed her, though he felt uncertain. He wanted to see what she was going to do. As it was a dead end, he turned around and left. Sara couldn't mistake it. Looking around, she found a CCTV. Thanks to the ability of hacker Jinamo, they found the footage. It was true that a man pulling a suitcase to this way. There was a car leaving the alley. They zoomed in on the license plate to check the vehicle's information. Jinamo found the car owner in just a moment. Sian Woo then believed in Sara. Right after knowing who he was the suspect, they left her there and went on the investigation. They ditched her when they no longer needed her. Hence, she disguised her voice to report it to the police. As soon as she finished her call, Sian Woo came back. Sian Woo changed his mind when Jinamo said Sara could help him shorten the time. He hired Sara as a detective. They made a team of 3. First, they went to find the manager of the actress who was gone. As expected, he realized the man in the photo, who had stalked and bothered her for a long time. However, the manager knew nothing about the necklace. Next, they found her close colleague. He believed that her boyfriend gave her the necklace. Although he did not know clearly about her boyfriend's identity, he could be sure that they met at a nightclub in Gangnam. Sian Woo and Sara dressed up to get in there. Sian Woo put an expensive necklace on Sara's neck. They used it as a bait and waited for the prey. At the nightclub, a man was threatening a pub worker with a broken glass. She asked for help, but they ignored her. They seemed to enjoy a play. Sara couldn't stand it. She poured the ice cubes on the man, then gave him a slap, and it was unexpected that he liked the type of woman like her. She successfully aroused his desire to conquer. Taejun touched Sara. Sara pushed him away and left, but someone blocked her way. Her superpower helped her know beforehand what would happen a moment later. At a critical moment, she sat down. A man was hit with a bottle glass. Sara drove him crazy. Fortunately, she could avoid his blow and run away. She then bumped into Sian Woo, who got changed with a suit. Through the camera, Jinamo knew Sara was in danger. He noticed Sian Woo, yet, the guards didn't let Normal in. That's why Sian Woo had to change to take her out of there. She looked at him with a tender look. When she got closer to him, Sian Woo was so confused. Yet, he seemed to wait for something. Sara asked what he was thinking. Sara someone was filming them through his eyes. She whispered to his ears about what she just saw. However, Sian Woo didn't see anyone. Sian Woo told her to stand there. He then approached the man with a mask and found the hidden camera. Sara tripped the man on the run-up. He was the late celeb's manager. The hidden camera was expensive, made him look like a regular offender. He confessed that his boss ordered him to film the female celeb's depraved lifestyle as a blackmail to make them obey and follow his order. His mission this time was to create a scandal between Sian Woo and a female celeb. It was to make Sian Woo sign a contract with his company's female idols. To make sure he was telling the truth, Sian Woo used the manager's phone to text his boss, "I'm booked." Sian Woo checked on the videos. The boss was about to delete the videos after reading the message, when the trio appeared to question him. No way out. He intended to swallow the memory card. However, he was choked. Sian Woo and Jinamo struggled to help him. Sara carried out the Heimlich maneuver to save him from choking to death. After giving him 5 abdominal thrusts, the memory card was removed. Her teammates just watched bewilderment. Sara picked up the memory card and gave it to Sian Woo. The police officers found the car owing to the clues that Sara gave them. They saw blood and a necklace in the car. Without much ado, they took a DNA test and arrested the suspect. The trio was checking on the camera and discovered that the actress wore a cancer definition cuff. Sara saw the stalker keeping his eyes on the actress. She recognized him from the Christmas tree pendant hanging on his backpack. He was the one who carried the suitcase out of her home on the fatal date. Thing was that Sian-woo and Jin-mo couldn't see the pendant despite a maximum zoom in, couldn't explain it to them. Sayara made an excuse to leave as it was late. Sian-woo asked if she forgot something. She thanked him for helping her earlier. He reminded her to return him the necklace. Sayara took off the necklace. Sian-woo carefully put it away. She said the richer people were, the meaner they got. He shocked her by telling her the value of the necklace. She touched her neck in awe. When Sayara got home, Nahi wondered if she stole someone's dress, because the dress on her body cost a dozen of millions of won, which was equivalent to her salary in 6 months. Her best friend asked her where she worked part-time. Say-na said she just found the best part-time job for life. The following day, Sian-woo and Jin-mo finally saw the pendant. After processing the photo, at this moment, both of them realized that what Sayara said was true. They believed that she had a special ability. To make sure of it, Sian-woo, on the top of the building, told Sayara on the phone that he would give her a gift. He asked her to direct her eyes and his to his company. Taking of the glasses, she read the note. She was completely flabbergasted when he discovered her ability. Sian-woo even pretended to fall off as another test to her ability. Sayara thought he fell off the building. Her reaction made him in the conviction that she could see all of his actions. It would be much easier once she helped him solve the case. When Jin-mo and Sian-woo were discussing about their next plan, the alarm bell rang. Through the CCTV camera, they saw Director Hong was breaking the door. When Hong Man-soo summoned up his strength to break the door, Sian-woo opened the door and gave him a fall. At that time, Sian-woo noticed that Director Hong was wearing the same cuff as the late actress's one. Those who donated for kids with cancer received the cuffs. This was an extremely important clue. Sian-woo took the hidden elevator to a hidden basement. These hidden places were connected to each other. Jin-mo was digging into the suspect's son, as he was also on the donation list. The little boy was the connection between the actress and the suspect. When Sian-woo was going out for the investigation, checking on the camera, there was a stand of desserts, which attracted many employees of the company. They would realize Sian-woo when he went out. Jin-mo said he would disperse the crowd. He threw the bread that Nahi gave him as a bribe. Turning around, he stumbled into the air dancer. The air dancer was broken, so Jin-mo had to replace it. In the end, Sayara helped him out. Thanks to that, they got closer. After arriving at the hospital, they saw the police officers there. Officer Han Guangqi was Sayara's brother. They hid behind them to eavesdrop. The nurse said the suspect's son had been discharged from the hospital. The boy said his father treated him well in front of people, but when no one was around, he maltreated his son. Although the nurses had reported it to the police, the little boy couldn't escape from his father. At this time, the officers got the search warrant so that they headed off to the suspect's home. After the police left, they saw the photos in the hospital. In one of those, the actress was sitting next to the suspect's son. Furthermore, the actress was a cruel and arrogant. She was always willing to give someone a dose of his own medicine, so why she let the suspect alone in spite of his stalking? That seemed a secret between them. On the other side, the police officers arrived at the suspect's home. He used the donation for his son to buy drug. Perhaps he targeted the actress for money. The neighbors said that he was a man of domestic violence. Guangqi noticed a blood stain in a corner of the room. Lifting up the blanket, he saw lots of blood. No wonder his wife left home and never came back. Thanks to Jin-mo's arrangement, Sayara could stay in a room with a woman. The woman thought Sayara and Sian-woo were newlyweds. In order to keep the secret, Sian-woo willingly admitted that they just got married. Under the observation of the woman, Sian-woo gently led Sayara out by hand. At this moment, the phone on the hospital suddenly rang. When Nahi knew Sayara was hospitalized, she was completely panicked and rushed to the hospital. While Sayara was finding for more clues, Sian-woo became a womanizer in the eyes of middle-aged woman. He asked the head nurse if she went to work on June 8th. The head nurse was stunned for a while. Checking on the schedule, she said she was on duty that night. Sian-woo said thank you and turned away. Then he told Jin-mo through the earphone to dig into the nurse's whereabouts that night, and the head nurse heard him. The middle-aged woman would reveal a secret to Sayara as she looked like her. She took Sayara to another place. While in the car, Jin-mo was on the watch. He heard someone jamming on the brakes. Turning around, she saw Nahi running in a rush. He chased after her and called her name. She stopped. Jin-mo walked up to Nahi, as if he was going to confess his love to her. In the toilet, middle-aged woman told Sayara to re-educate her husband. Formerly, her husband had an eye contact with the head nurse and was captivated. Sayara wondered why the head nurse got involved in this case. She heard Jin-mo scream through the wireless earphone. Nahi actually went to the hospital to find her. Jin-mo was trying to buying more time. Nahi was so worried that she didn't have time to pay attention to him. she knew Sayara was a strong girl. When she had a fever of 39 degrees, she still went to work, thereby, she was sure that Jin Mo and Sian Woo caused her admission to hospital. Jin Mo was angry with her accusation. He picked up the drink he bought for Na-hee and then drank it. Na-hee finally couldn't stand it anymore. She didn't want to continue arguing with him anymore. When Na-hee turned to leave, he fell on the floor, his face turned red with choke. Returning to the sick room, Sian Woo and Sayara gave Jin Mo a call, but they couldn't reach him on the phone. Na-hee told Sayara that Jin Mo was in the emergency department. Sayara and Sian Woo rushed over. Sian Woo asked if Na-hee let him drink milk. Na-hee said he drank it all himself. She didn't know he was seriously allergic to milk. Na-hee asked Sayara again why she was suddenly hospitalized. Sayara said she was just going for a health checkup. After making sure that Sayara was okay, Na-hee was finally reassured. When Sian Woo was about to get home for a sleep, the woman asked him to stay. Sian Woo was helpless and had no other choice. He drew the curtains and laid on the bed with Sayara. The next day when someone pulled the curtain aside, everyone was surprised. Sian Woo was lying on the bed and it was too stiff for him. He felt pain all over his body from his wife, who was known as a patient, lying on the small bed. The middle-aged woman scolded Sian Woo. Sian Woo woke Sayara up. The woman's husband asked Sian Woo to carry Sayara to the bed. Then he gave Sian Woo the tray of breakfast. Sian Woo was smarter this time. He quickly served Sayara with breakfast. The middle-aged woman still blamed Sian Woo. By the way, Sayara also set him right. Say acted like her husband was always indifferent to her. As expected, the middle-aged man asked him to feed her. Sian Woo, under everyone's pressure, had no choice but to compromise, taking the chance. Sayara asked for meat. Sian Woo wasn't happy when he fed her with beef. Sian Woo finally finished feeding Sayara the meal. Director Hong saw Sian Woo at the hospital. When Sian Woo realized Hong was following after him, he turned around and ran away. Yet, Hong didn't give up. Even though his leg hurt, he still chased after Sian Woo. When Sian Woo saw Sayara, he felt like he had seen a savior. Sayara was disconcerted when Sian Woo ran towards her. Sian Woo hushed her and took her to a corner. Finally, he could dodge Director Hong. According to the suspect, the head nurse was very suspicious because she did not go to work the night of the incident. However, Jin Mo discovered that she also worked part-time as a Latin dance teacher, and she happened to be there on the night of the incident. She has an alibi, while they didn't know what to do. Sayara happened to see the nurse's pen. She had the same pendant as the suspect's one. It was the head nurse who gave it to her. Sayara asked her if the head nurse went to work on June 8th. She said it seemed like the head nurse got off work 2 hours earlier than usual. It was obvious that the head nurse lied to them, and she had enough time to reach the crime scene. The trio realized that they had found the wrong person. The real suspect must have been the head nurse. Jin Mo then sneaked into the head nurse's car. He found the suitcase of the suspect there. Then he checked on the GPS location history. She regularly went to a place. The head nurse already changed her clothes and was getting off work. Before leaving, she made a call. Sayara could see the phone number the nurse was calling. After the head nurse left, they called back. Sian Woo rolled his eyes when hearing something. At this time, the head nurse left and came back. However, she ran away seeing them. They chased after her. As there were too many patients and they weren't used to the hospital's layout, they lost sight of her after a while of chasing. Sayara used her special ability and saw the head nurse taking off her shirt, then put on a cap. Sharing her location with Sian Woo, Sayara followed the head nurse to a warehouse. She went off into a faint after the head nurse gave her a shot from behind. When Sian Woo arrived at the shared location, he only saw the wireless earphone. Taking careful and light step, he saw a door was closing slowly. Opening the door, he saw Sayara in a coma. When he came towards Sayara, the head nurse tried to hit him with a tube. He easily defeated her. As he underestimated the enemy, she knocked him out with a needle. Jin Mo was very worried when they didn't answer him. He was confused when the head nurse passing by in her car. He didn't know if he should chase after her or rescue his teammates. Sian Woo and Sayara woke up realizing they were tied together. The more they struggled, the tighter the tubes wrapped around. Finally, Sian Woo came up with a good idea. They could use their mouths. Sayara thought he was going to scream. Sian Woo felt helpless with her idea. He told her to use her mouth to untie the tube. Sayara had no choice but to listen to him. He couldn't help laughing, which made her harder to untie the tube. He couldn't even stand the slightest touch. In the end, he blamed her for not doing it well. Then untied it with his mouth. Is it really that itchy? Standing outside of the room, Jin Mo heard a sensitive sound. He gently opened the door and was even more shocked at what he saw. Jin Mo said sorry and closed the door. They felt very helpless. Yet, Jin Mo was just kidding. After that, they set off to the head nurse's place of call. On the way, Gina Mo was sure that the head nurse had an accomplice. Together, they took an actress's life for money. What Xian Wu said shocked the other two. He heard the actress's voice on the phone earlier. She was still alive. At that moment, a white car dashed to them. Xian Wu turned the wheel. The two cars almost crashed. Gina Mo asked if he was crazy. Xian Wu got out of the car without answering him. It was the head nurse's car. He opened the back seat door and the person sitting there was the actress who thought to be deceased. A rich man trapped and got her pregnant. She was willing to give up her career for the child. To punish her, the rich man bribed the head nurse to fool the actress that her baby was lost. Therefore, for the past 7 years, she had time to volunteer to take care of children, until one day she saw a boy. It was destiny when she met and had a soft corner in her heart for a little boy. She also see the nurse who lied to her again. And she realized that she had been for 7 years, seeing the wounds that the adoptive father caused to her son. She swore to make him pay, and she hated the rich man even more because he lied about her child's death. Hence, she stole his queen's tears necklace. She thought she had found a chink in his armor. However, someone stole the necklace from her. At first, she thought the rich man took it back so she didn't call the police. The following day, a ceiling lamp almost fell on her. Only then did she realize that someone else had stolen the necklace. If the rich man knew she lost the necklace after finding her son, he would not forgive her. So, with the help of the head nurse, she stole her son's adoptive father's car and faked a crime scene of her death. It can be said that this is killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Not only could she escape the rich man but also take revenge on the adoptive father. Xian Wu was the only variable. From the beginning, Xian Wu could tell it was a stage of the crime scene, and the reason why he dug into this case was to find and ask her where she got the necklace, which was related to the truth about his mother's death. The actress required him to let her go first. She promised to tell him after her child's surgery. The plane was going to take off. If she was late, her son would miss a chance of an operation. Seeing the poor boy, Sarah felt soft-hearted. She persuaded Xian Wu to stop questioning. The suspect of his mom's death had returned after 20 years. Xian Wu wouldn't give up. Hearing the sound of a starting car, they realized that the actress fled away. Gina Mo fell unconscious, while waiting for him to wake up. Xian Wu carefully observed the paintings on the wall. When Gina Mo woke up, Xian Wu asked him to track the actress's location. Actually, they installed a positioning device on the car earlier. 3 of them followed the tracker to the hospital. The boy insisted that he was fine to board a plane. The head nurse also reminded her to leave quickly. Xian Wu said he could help her get on the plane in time. The actress was so angry when he didn't let her alone. Xian Wu claimed that he could find her wherever she was, like this time if she didn't keep her words. Xian Wu had his own helicopter to help her child reach the airport within 1 hour. The actress couldn't believe him. The little boy thanked Xian Wu. When the trio was talking together, the actress came. She whispered to Xian Wu's ear. Their mission completed, Sarah was fired. Xian Wu demanded her to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Sarah left without looking back. They thought she was angry. Actually, she felt uncomfortable because she misunderstood Xian Wu. She thought he was a pervert. In fact, he was trying to find the murderer. Remembering the expensive dress, she should return it to him after finishing her mission. When she turned back, the car door was locked. Thus, she was going to ask Gina Mo to open it. The door was open but no one was there, so she went in. The wall full of books amazed her. Unexpectedly, a hidden door was opened when she touched a book. It froze Sarah for a while. Her eyes stopped for a few seconds at a book on the table. Xian Wu didn't know that she was in his hidden place. He came to the living room after working out. He saw the dress on the table, trying it on and recalling Sarah when she wore it. He couldn't help smiling. A laugh startled him. Sarah showed herself after making a noise. Gina Mo turned back in time and gave Jin Wu his jacket, which made both sides less embarrassed. Xian Wu then asked Sarah not to tell anyone about his place. Sarah promised him and took the dress away. Gina Mo told Xian Wu that she knew all his secrets, including his body. At her home, Sarah remembered the painting Xian Wu gave her earlier. She took a photo of it and sent it to Guan King. Thanks to this, the police solved a murder case. They found the scene in the picture. There, they found a female body wrapped in a bag. It was such a clear evidence. The suspect had no reason to deny. He was the one who took his own wife's life. Sarah couldn't sleep. The woman in the photos at Xian Wu's home looked so familiar. Sarah seemed to see her when she was small. There were many things she herself couldn't remember. Early the next morning, Sarah happily came to see her best friend. There, she met her brother who was an officer. She asked him about her dementia. When she was small, she lost her memories after an accident due to her special ability. That was why he told her not to use it to protect herself. Alone in his place, Sian-woo recalled what the actress told him, "Be careful with Kang Tae-jun." He remembered Kang's reaction to the necklace on Seara's body. Maybe he really had something to do with the necklace. After talking to a middle school student, Jin-mo went to see Sian-woo. Both of them agreed to dig into Kang Tae-jun. Jin-mo suggested to entrust Seara with the observation. Sian-woo gave her a call at night. She wanted to begin her work the following day, yet, she posed a question to him. "Don't you no longer need me?" Sian-woo told her that she was important to him, yet, he was still fine without her. None of them yielded. Eventually, he said it had to be her. Seara was finally satisfied. She couldn't help smiling. Jin-mo was late the following morning. Seara rejected Sian-woo's phone. The arrogant CEO found it hard to believe. Jin-mo discovered it from the screen. Seara, who was supposed to come to work but didn't come, he told them that someone named Sue had called Seara. They arrived at the orphanage where Sue was living. Only then did they know that Seara was also born here. She worked hard to earn money to help her brothers and sisters there. Sue went out early with her savings book. They found strange pills in the trash bin, and photos with a friend in the drawer. This student must have been a problem. Seara found her at the working place. Just a moment after she sighed with relief, she saw Sue was kidnapped by a group of men. Seara immediately called the police but no one answered. Sian-woo arrived to help her. Though they drove at the fastest speed, they still failed to catch up. Thanks to Seara's ability, they didn't lose sight. Finally, they found the black car. Seara rushed there but Sian-woo stopped her. Seara would get hurt if she showed herself without a plan. While they were discussing the plan, Sue was taken to the abandoned factory. Her best friend was kept there as she owed them money to buy drug. Feeling pity for her best friend, she gave all of her money to the thugs and asked them to release her friend. Yet, the thugs even wanted to detain her. They looked at her from top to bottom with avid eyes, and promised to introduce her to a good job. Sue threatened them that her brother was a police officer. The leader gave her a blow in her face and tied her up. Someone knocked on the door as a delivery man. None of them ordered anything. The delivery man said he found the exact address. Two thugs opened the door and saw a man in a helmet. Sian-woo signaled Seara and got into the warehouse. First, they wanted to check it out. Before they could react to the delivered thing, Sian-woo knocked them out. Then he triggered a smoke bomb in the veil of smoke. He knocked out all the thugs. Seara sneaked in from the back door to save her sister. When Seara found the senseless girl, a thug kept Sue hostage. Sian-woo had to surrender. He coldly gave instructions to her. In the warehouse, they were tied together. They thought Sue was an orphan, who had no one to care when she disappeared. He didn't expect her to cause so many troubles. Sian-woo asked them to release Sue and her friend. It was not too late to let them go and surrender. He wondered why young and strong men like them kidnapped two weak girls. Feeling embarrassed, the thug gave Sian-woo a punch. Sian-woo didn't expect that he was punched by those rascals. When the thug was about to punch him again, suddenly there was an alarm and the door slowly opened. Jin-mo appeared in battle dress and a rifle. The rascals got scared and ran away with the girls as their hostages. Jin-mo shouted out, "Freeze!" However, only Sian-woo and Seara were there. When the thugs escaped, they realized they were fooled, and cursed at Sian-woo's team. When the trio got out, the black car already left. He also kept Jin-mo's key. Seara was so worried when her sister was kidnapped, she ran after them. Sian-woo followed after her to make sure of her safety, but they forgot Jin-mo's ace. Seara went up high to find the black car with her super eyes. However, her power only lasted for 10 seconds. She got a headache. Still, she persisted and found the license plate. Before she fell to the ground, Sian-woo caught her and kept her head safe. Seara saw him before fainting away. It seemed that she remembered something. When Seara found her sister, the girls lost their strength after the torment. Those thugs soon would be punished by the law. Seara couldn't sleep. She remembered the images that appeared in her head before she passed out. Originally thought it was just a dream, but why did she always see that? Her sister was safe then. It was time to find the necklace of Sian-woo's mother. The culprit stole her necklace after taking her life. The necklace just appeared after 20 years. Following the clues, they could find the culprit. Seara dressed professional the following day. Sian-woo helped her become Taejun's secretary. He wondered why Taejun was keeping the necklace. Taejun asked his men to find the girl wearing the necklace. The most dangerous place is actually the safest place. As Taejun was blind drunk, he couldn't remember Seara's face. Sian-woo believed that Taejun wouldn't realize her. Seara found a perfect spot to leave a hidden camera. When she was installing it, Taejun walked in the office. She introduced herself as his new secretary, then she made an excuse to do her job. Taejun told her to stop. Seara thought she was exposed, but Taejun only told her to put away the cloth. she quickly left there with the cloth, finishing her mission without raising his doubts. Suddenly, she received a call. Someone asked to talk to Taejun. Without thinking, she said she would pass on the message to him. She proudly told herself that she was indeed born to be a secretary, yet, Taejun lashed out at her. Why do you answer everyone's calls like that? Was he always like that? Sara was so confused. At that time, he asked her to prepare the documents for the meeting. Sean-woo was watching everything. Taejun dozed off during the meeting. When the chairman walked in, everyone stood up, only Taejun was sleeping. Sara pretended to drop the documents on the floor to get a chance waking him up, and highlighted the contents of the meeting. Casting a glance, he began to talk about it in a serious way. As expected, everyone looked at him as a fool. At this time, Sara quickly changed the documents. Taejun was very angry at the way she did her job. Secretary Kim helped her out. He admitted to give her the wrong documents. Seon-woo blamed Taejun for his behavior. He was unaware of the topic during the meeting he chaired. More than that, he even yelled at his employee. Feeling ashamed, Taejun wanted to fire Sara. Secretary Kim didn't agree. Seon-woo realized that Taejun always took Kim's advice. He wanted to know the reason. Thus, he asked Jin-mo to install positioning device to Taejun's car. In the evening, he followed Taejun to a bar, and bribed the waiter to put a bug on a plate of fruits. Taejun met the actress who took a selfie on the day he met Sara. He saw a girl look like Sara in the photo. Her face wasn't clearly seen, yet, it was enough to raise his doubts. When Seon-woo was leaving, a woman was in his way. It led to the encounter between Taejun and Seon-woo. Taejun thought he was under observation. Seon-woo asked him not to be skeptical. He then sat down and pretended to wait for someone. Taejun took a seat next to him. He wanted to expose Seon-woo's lie. Couldn't wait. Seon-woo called his secretary. Someone called his name from behind. They turned around seeing a group of staff waving at him. Seon-woo waved at them back and told them to come. Taejun couldn't believe that Seon-woo really had an appointment with a group of secretaries. They were very proud of that. When the two leaders of the company joined their welcoming party, in just a moment, the female staff forgot their worry when their idol, who was Secretary Kim, appeared. Sara was also one of them. Seon-woo texted to ask her leave as soon as possible. Taejun grabbed her and pulled her towards him. Sara drank under duress. Someone got drunk, said something unnecessary. He called Taejun a madman. His usual behavior really disgusted everyone. One of the female staff confessed her love to Secretary Kim, but Secretary Kim remained silent with a calm expression. He acted to help Sara when Taejun made difficulties for her. Sara had a shivery feeling during the meal. Fortunately, no problem at all. As Sara couldn't order a taxi, Secretary Kim offered to take her home. Seon-woo was waiting for her on the other side of the road. He sighed with relief when Sara rejected Kim. After all, he still followed her all the way. Her cute look cracked him up. Presuming that she was safe, Seon-woo was about to leave. However, when he glanced at the mirror, Sara disappeared. He nervously got out of the car and looked for her, convincing himself that it was because she was her employee. He should care about her. She took off her heels and sat down in a bus station. Seon-woo felt like he was worried too much about it. Sara felt a bit nauseous. When she laid down, he used his hand to pillow her head. Seon-woo carried her on his back. She grabbed his hair. He got so tired. Sara sat up and touched his face. She considered him a good friend. Nah, he said. Sara was so much like him, feeling angry yet funny. He covered her with a blanket. Someone knocked on the door when he was going to leave. Sara sat up to open the door, yet Seon-woo held her back. Then they both fell to the bed. The next morning, Jin-mo woke up somewhere he wasn't familiar with, without any clothes on. He remembered that he grabbed a drink with Nahi the previous night. Someone seemed to having a bath. He quickly rolled out of bed and picked up his pants, at which point Nahi walked out of the bathroom. She saw a man wearing nothing. She awkwardly asked him if he wanted something to eat to relieve his hangover. Needless to say, Jin-mo immediately pointed to the leftovers on the table. Instant noodles were the cause. Things got out of control when their lips touched, sharing noodles. Trying to stay calm, Nahi made an excuse to leave. Once she got out, she couldn't pretend anymore. She regretted about it. Meanwhile, Jin-mo was also tossing and turning on the bed. He got changed and sneaked out to avoid Nahi. Nahi happened to turn around and see him. He awkwardly explained that he had just gone for a run. As for him, it was necessary to explain what happened last night. At this time, a man walked in to buy bread. Jin-mo took the opportunity to sneak out. Nahi was unfortunately injured. Jin-mo didn't know what to do. When he returned in the evening, Jin-mo saw a bulky man bothering her. The man asked for a compensation as he found an iron thread in her bread. There was no such a thing in her store. The man insisted that it was in the cake, otherwise he would have to sue her. Jin-mo appeared as a cool man. He gave the man his card visit and introduced himself as Nahi's lawyer. He asked if the man was injured. He said the iron thread scratched his mouth. Jin Mo confidently cited, "Someone who falsely accuses or threats another will be fined up to 15 million won. Or imprisoned for a term of up to 5 years. The beard man got scared and claimed that his mouth would be fine after taking medicine. Nahi looked straight at the man in front of her who made her feel secure. The trio of detectives began to dig into Taejun at night. Their mission this time was to destroy Sara, who approached Taejun. She even stomped on the foot of Seon-woo, with the aim of gaining Taejun's trust. When he entered the pin to his phone, she saw and remembered it. Taejun was happy when Seon-woo got hurt, so he decided to invite Sara a lunch. Sara intentionally poked with chopsticks, splashing the oil at Taejun. After saying sorry, she went to the car for the backup shirt. As soon as she opened the trunk, Seon-woo trod on it. Sara quickly pulled him aside to hide. He gave her a USB and asked her copy data from Taejun's phone, otherwise he would stomp on her feet as a revenge. In her eyes, he was a mean and narrow-minded man. When Sara returned, Taejun left his phone on the table while washing his shirt in the toilet. God was really helping her. She inserted the USB without thinking, and entered the pin to his phone. As soon as it was connected, Jin Mo started copying. They were worried during the process. If Taejun caught her, she would be screwed. She kept looking nervously at the door. Seon-woo noticed her that Taejun was coming. When Taejun came back, she put the box on his phone to cover it and get more time, until Sara heard the good news through the earphones. As the copy process was completed, Sara put the shirt in the box and plugged the USB out. She took a seat without changing her countenance. Taejun asked her if they ever met. Sara said that a woman with a lower status like her didn't have a chance to encounter him. Again, she satisfied his doubts. Seon-woo knew Taejun had called someone at 1 p.m. It was an overseas call, so they couldn't track it. Taejun kept staring at his watch. Sara got it and made an excuse to leave. Jin Mo acted as Sunday, the genius scientist who was going to meet Taejun. No matter what his plan was, they had to cancel their meeting, and used it to attack on Taejun. When Sara came, they disguised themselves. First of all, they swapped the place of appointment. After that, Seon-woo sat in for Taejun to meet up with Sunday. It was for stopping Taejun from seeing him. Sara disguised as the waitress who led Sunday to Seon-woo. Meanwhile, Jin Mo disguised himself as Sunday to see Taejun. Jin Mo gave him his fake card visit, which he prepared in advance. Sunday was under investigation due to his cooperation with Taejun. Sunday asked Taejun where Taejun was. Seon-woo let him know that he was digging into Taejun. He would stop once Sunday cancelled it. Taejun threw the card visit away and left the room in anger. Sunday agreed with Seon-woo. Before leaving, Seon-woo had the last requirement for Sunday. He required the scientist to break off all connections with Taejun and not to tell Taejun about their meeting. Sunday agreed as long as Seon-woo stopped digging deeper. He confidently assured of it as long as Seon-woo kept his words. After all, announcing this incident would give his company a damage. The trio was in a good mood after accomplishing their mission. They all gave a thumbs up, yet, they didn't know that Secretary Kim was filming them. The missions for Sara were harder and harder, which was to help Seon-woo ruin a blind date and stopped a woman from pursuing him. In front of her, Sara acted as Seon-woo's girlfriend, which made Yumin grew cross. Sara even acted cute and coddled herself. They fed each other in front of Yumin. Too uncomfortable to see them, Yumin stood up and left. As soon as she left there, they let go of each other's hand. They even couldn't look at one another. Sara noticed that Director Hong was watching them from afar. Seon-woo asked Sara to keep acting as his girlfriend, which helped him dodge blind dates. He put a pair of glasses on Sara's face and took the elevator to the highest floor. To pay for her great performances, he ordered her his favorite fried rice cake. She had never eaten rice cake like this before. It tasted so good. She picked up a rice cake and played a joke on him. Sara fell asleep after eating. Seon-woo felt helpless with this carefree woman. When she almost rolled off the narrow sofa, he carried her to the bed. He picked up a pillow and went to the sofa for a sleep. But when he was waken up by a phone call, he was lying next to her on the bed. Sara reached across to grab her phone, yet, she touched a hand. As soon as she opened her eyes, she realized she was lying in the lap of Seon-woo. She screamed out and stood aside. Her clothes were still on her body. Seon-woo swore that he did nothing to her. Sara sighed with relief and realized it was late for work. Seon-woo told her not to worry as he would lead her through a hidden exit. After they got change, Seon-woo took her to the hidden place. Both of them were embarrassed due to the earlier touch. The hidden place led to his office. Seon-woo opened the door slightly for a check. Seeing no one there, he told her to leave. After Sara left, Seon-woo turned around and got jumpy by Director Hong. Hong asked Sean Woo if he stayed overnight with a woman the previous night. Sean Woo admitted it was true, then he asked if Hong had something to tell him. Director Hong said manager Kim accused Taejun of embezzlement. However, Kim Hong-soo was found nowhere, neither did he pick up the phone nor get home. Checking it on the CCTV, Sean Woo discovered that he came to the company early in the morning. He didn't come out of the company yet. Meanwhile, Taejun was suspicious of Sara. He always felt like he had met Sara before. Comparing to the photo, he was pretty sure that Sara was the woman who threw ice cubes at him. He quickly went to the company to catch her. When he tried to catch up with her, she suddenly disappeared after taking a turn. Taejun bumped into a janitor who was actually Sean Woo. Once Sean Woo figured out Taejun's intention, Sean Woo warned her and disguised himself to save her. In the toilet, he carried her out of the trash bin. She complained about the bad smell she had to suffer. Sean Woo told her, "Durians smell awful but the taste is heavenly." Sean Woo carried along a cart of durians. He then gave her a uniform of janitors and asked her to get changed. They had to find manager Kim Hong-soo who was missing. In their disguise, they pushed the cart along the company. The janitor crew manager asked where they were from. Without freaking out, they calmly overcame the risk. They said they were standing in for the staff on sick leave. However, the janitor crew manager didn't let them take the elevator, because the superiors didn't like the smell of garbage trucks. While carrying the cart upstairs, Sean Woo cursed at the mentioned superiors, but the highest ranking person in this company was him. He was too busy with the investigation to care for the company's activities. He deserved to suffer it. They sweated a lot due to the heavy mission. Sean Woo didn't let Sara wipe his sweat. Finally, they reached the 12th floor, and looked around the office of President Bayan. Sean Woo saw the plan that he gave Bayan the other day. However, the autograph was of Anna. He took a photo of it as an evidence. Sean Woo inserted the USB while pretending to empty the trash bin. For Jin Mo to copy the data, Sara noticed an employee named Lee Yun. She was holding the diagnosis of insomnia. Sean Woo found a broken pen in the trash bin. Just before he could think carefully, Sara reminded him that Secretary Kim had arrived. They quickly left to avoid him. In the meeting room, they shared with each other what they found. Sara saw the strange powder in the cup of coffee. Perhaps someone spiked his drink then kidnapped him. Sean Woo wondered if she used her ability again and if she was still fine. Sara swiftly changed the topic. She said Lee Yun was suffering from insomnia. Maybe the power was from sleeping pills. Jin Mo always discovered that Anna wrote all the documents for President Bayan. However, he submitted them as his own works. So it seemed that Anna had a motive. What about the broke pen in the trash bin? Sara suspects that those women committed the crime together. Sean Woo told her not to jump to the conclusion. They had to verify it first. Jin Mo also gave an advice to Sean Woo that he shouldn't go around in disguise or else his reputation would be ruined if someone recognized him. Sara thought he should be in the toilet. The janitor crew manager came when they were joking. Sara signaled Sean Woo to begin to work. Sean Woo didn't get what she meant. Turning around, he got it when seeing the manager. They were asked to clean the toilet for mail. Sara happily took her duties while Sean Woo was still at fault. He didn't want to do it so he left, but Sara didn't let him go. When a man walked out of the toilet, Sean Woo almost threw up by what he saw. This left a lasting impression on him. During the time, Taejun was looking for Sara. In the CCTV control room, he saw something that roused his doubts. Sara was caught in the camera in the janitor uniform. She was listening to the gossip of women in the tea room. Kim Hong-soo was rude to the female employees. He touched them with the pen. Only then did Sara know Lee Yun's motive for committing the crime. When she was going to share about the clue with Sean Woo, Taejun was coming to her. He chased after her when she ran away. Sean Woo told her to hide in the toilet for female, yet Taejun dared to get in there. Sara couldn't escape from him. He grabbed her wrist and asked if she was the woman he met at the nightclub. Fortunately, Sean Woo came in time and knocked Taejun senseless. Sara worriedly asked him if he was still alive. Sean Woo said he used a mild force. They locked Taejun in the toilet and pasted the out-of-order notice on the door, and they saw Director Hong as soon as walking out of there. Hong felt so disappointed. "I patiently work hard to serve you every day, and never let your hands get wet. What are you doing now?" Sean Woo quickly moved a thread. He wanted to know if anyone accused of manager Kim Hong-soo. Director Hong said no one accused him of anything. 2 months ago, Kim Hong-soo denounced Manager Young. Manager Young had quit her job. Director Kim smelled the smelly smell of something. Sean Woo asked Hong to handle the trash bin. He and Sara just left. It was time to reveal the truth. It was not easy for Taejun to escape from the women's restroom. A bad news for him. Sean Woo just found manager Hong Kim-soo. Before he denounced Taejun, Sara and Sian Woo had figured out the entire process of the disappearance in this secret room. Manager Young, who resigned 2 months ago, had returned to the company. First, she spiked his drink, put him in a big box and carried it to the hall. He was probably still sleeping in a box. Sian Woo figured out thanks to the janitor crew manager. Last night, the cleaning staff had a dislocation while helping move the display screen. Young said she helped carry the trash bin. In fact, she posted an announcement to the company's internal network. As for that screen, it was just moved into the hall this morning. Young admitted what she had done. She claimed to do it all alone, because she had a feud with Kim Hong-soo, who destroyed her career. Overhearing the talk between Taejun and Hong Kim-soo, she knew Kim had all the evidences of Taejun's embezzlement. Her plan was 1 shot, 2 kills. She denounced Taejun under manager Hong's name. Not only did she sever their relationship but also give them beans. She posted at 1 a.m. while Anna and Lee Yun was working overtime. She still worked there. She witnessed how Hong claimed all the credit. He possessed Anna's researches and achievements for himself. He even often insulted and harassed Lee John. She felt so sorry for not being brave enough to defend them. Sian Woo asked to see Anna and Lee Yun. He solemnly apologized to the 3 of them and promised to get justice for them. Young opened the box where she kept manager Hong. Hong Kim-soo stretched himself. Seeing Sian Woo, he got jumpy and bumped his head. Sian Woo asked him about the evidences of Taejun's embezzlement. In the meantime, Taejun found Sara. Sian Woo asked Taejun to go somewhere. He admitted to Taejun that Sara was his spy. Taejun was stunned when Sian Woo asked him about the necklace. He didn't even know when he got it. Sian Woo could tell that the one who kept the necklace was his father, Kang Won-soo. The truth that Sian Woo knew about Taejun's embezzlement kindled Kang Won-soo's anger. He asked Kim to take Taejun home. Hearing about Sian Woo's investigation on the Queen's Tears necklace, Won-soo kidnapped him. He even paid 500 million for Sian Woo's life. Sara and Sian Woo went for a barbecue to celebrate their victory. They seemed to be more familiar with each other. On the way home, their hands touched. They had a change in emotions. Sian Woo saw some men in black in their way. Sensing the danger, he asked Sara to get home first. Their sweet moment was broken. Sara felt dissatisfied with the sudden change of him. As soon as she turned around, she saw a group of men in black following after him. She also realized the danger. It was tough for Sian Woo to knock all of them out, because they used weapons to attack on him. From afar, Sara could see that Sian Woo was abdominally wounded. Sara chased after them and shared the location with Jin Mo. Jin Mo sought for help. Meanwhile, Sara stood on a tank to see through the window. Sian Woo was tied on a chair. President Bayan was calling the one who paid him. He said Sian Woo had seen their faces, so they got him bleeding. It required to ask for a bonus. Taejun freaked out. So did Won-soo. He ordered Bayan to handle Sian Woo. Bayan didn't get what he meant. He thought Won-soo wanted him to get rid of Sian Woo. So he ordered his men to drown Sian Woo in a fish tank. Sian Woo wanted to know how much they were paid to take his life. He laughed out loud when Bayan held up 5 fingers. Only 500 million won for the life of the owners of the biggest company in Korea. Bayan thought over the problem. It was a small amount. Sian Woo promised to give him 5 billion won after he was released, when Bayan asked his men to take him out. An explosion occurred. Jin Mo appeared with 2 girls. Seeing them, the gang members drowned Sian Woo in the tank and closed the lid. Jin Mo used the nunchaku and the girls used slingshot. They forgot to save Sian Woo. Sian Woo was going to breathe his last. Jin Mo saw it and promptly got Sian Woo out of there. Sara set Sian Woo on his feet. Jin Mo and Nahi put the gang members off the scent. Without being misled, they chased after Sian Woo. Sian Woo reached the end of the road due to the wound. When the gangsters caught up with them, Sian Woo used all his last strength to fight. He wanted Sara to save herself. It had better than being caught. Running to the edge of a cliff, he slipped and disappeared. Hearing the whistle, they had to run instead of searching for Sian Woo. 3 people and the police failed find Sian Woo. His missing was on TV the following day. Sara remembered that he sacrificed himself to save her. She felt she couldn't just wait and put her trust in the police, so she returned to the valley where he disappeared and used her power to find him. Then she saw a trace of blood on the tree. When she was searching around, the gangsters also came back there. Someone covered her mouth when she was frozen. Sian Woo got fully changed. Secretary Kim found him clinging to the cliff. He guessed the one behind those was Kim Won-soo, hence, he went missing on purpose, in order to see what they would do next. Then he took her to the place of his mother's death. She saw that his body was full of scars. Feeling pity for him, she helped him treat the wound. They were so close when she wrapped the bandage around his waist. Seeing the photos below the table, Sian Woo showed her his mother. she was a volunteer at an orphanage. Sayra realized it was the place where she grew up. His mother was like an angel in her eyes, because Sayra could see what normal couldn't. The other kids bullied her and considered her a monster. His mother told her that it was a gift from God to a very special child. From then on, she decided to become a special person. As Xianwu was hiding himself, they need to buy necessities. She fed him with the street foods that he had never tried before, and bought him a cheap shirt that he had never tried on. They put on floral shirts and sunglasses. They looked like a couple, and an old man took a photo of them. Sayra saw and asked him to delete those photos. As Xianwu pretended to be missing, he couldn't be seen anywhere. Xianwu saw so many old photos on the wall. Maybe he could find something from those. Xianwu praised the old man's photography skill, thanks to which, he was allowed to see all the photos he took. Beyond expectation, he had a big discovery. Kang Wansu had come there 20 years ago. In addition, his mother's necklace was also in his hand. It is very possible that he was the one who ended his mother's life. To find evidence, he had to find the other person in the photo first. It wasn't a good night for Sayra. She had another nightmare. This time, she dreamed of a green-eyed monster chasing her. Xianwu stayed by her side, and let her lie on his lap. He held her hand. Finally, she could sleep safe and sound. The next day, she woke up refreshed. Xianwu didn't move at all. His legs must be numb. They gradually changed their attitudes to each other. Xianwu received a message from Jinamo. The board of managers suddenly held an emergency shareholder meeting. Thinking that Xianwu was gone, Kang Wansu summoned all the shareholders. He wanted to make himself the chairman of the company. Everyone raised their hands to vote. Wansu felt like his position was secure. Suddenly, the door was opened. Xianwu in a white suit appeared with Director Hong and Sayra. Everyone was surprised at his return. Wansu was disillusioned. Xianwu wouldn't spare those who wanted his life to end. In the end, Wansu had no choice to kick his son out. Before leaving, he shouted that Secretary Kim had harmed him. Wansu felt like there was a spy next to him. For this reason, he secretly went to Kim's house. Indeed, there was evidence of Taejun's illegal act and Wansu's embezzlement. It seemed like Secretary Kim was actually a spy. However, when he saw the photo on the table, he was so scared and about to leave. When Kim returned home, he saw strands of hair on his bed. The driver told him that Wansu was there. He slowly opened the curtain which covered a board full of Wansu's photos. After experiencing life and death moments together, Sayra and Xianwu knew each other well. They confessed their love to each other and entered into a relationship. The next day, Director Hong gave him an information. They investigated the employment records from 20 years ago. The man next to Wansu in the photo was his driver. When they were looking for the driver in the photo, they met a teacher who was worriedly looking for her student. Sayra used her power to help. Eventually, she found the child hiding in the hole. The little girl's mother was lost. She wanted to be closer to her mother. Sayra comforted and hugged the poor child. After that, they found the driver. Xianwu showed him the photo and asked flatly. However, the driver said that he couldn't remember anything due to his disease. Then he sent the two of them away. The little girl whom they found earlier appeared. She was the driver's granddaughter. They were living on each other. When he learned that the two people in front of him were her savior, the driver decided to tell the truth. Back then, he and Wansu went to an orphanage. He wanted to sponsor a boy named Kim Namgyu and sent him abroad. Xianwu showed him the photo of the orphans and asked him if any one of them was the one. The driver realized Namgyu. Why did he sponsor a child whom he had never seen? Despite Jinamo's genius ability, he couldn't find anything about Namgyu, who seemed to leave the world. Xianwu and Sayra wanted to start with the orphanage. Returning to her home, Sayra felt extremely excited, but the old dean passed away, and the new one did not understand the situation at that time. Sayra was told to ask Guangqi about Namgyu. So she went to see him with a lunchbox. Guangqi and Namgyu went to the same high school. After that, they drove straight to school. The principal had retired. Xianwu found the new principal for a talk. He offered to build a new building which surprised the principal. He told Xianwu everything he knew about Namgyu. He said Namgyu was an excellent student, even when other children trembled with fear while dissecting frogs. He was able to perform the dissection without changing his expression. The principal thought Namgyu would go to medical school, but when they met again 10 years ago, he had changed so much that he almost didn't recognize him. Furthermore, he changed his name. Sayra and Xianwu were shocked hearing his new name. On the other side, Jinamo was using an automated age progression software to see how Namgyu would age. Jinamo called Xianwu about that, and they both mentioned Secretary Kim, who was the key to know the truth about the death of Xianwu's mother. When Xianwu went to find Kim, he admitted to be Kim Namgyu. Xianwu wanted to know why his mother got smoked. He studied abroad with the support of Wansu and changed his name. that was how he became Won-soo's right-hand man. Secretary Kim said he was just returning the favor. He knew nothing about anything else. Of course Si-in-woo didn't believe what he said. His intuition told him that Secretary Kim had hidden the truth. Actually, Kim saw the one who took the life of Si-in-woo's mother. To show his royalty, he ended her life by himself. As long as he became a useful person, he would gain his father's approval. He did not expect that Won-soo kept him beside, in order to help him gain victories. To save himself from Si-in-woo, Won-soo asked Kim to take all the blame. Secretary Kim finally realized the truth. To his father he was just a loyal dog. He was thrown away when he lost his value despite his 20 years of contribution. Stamping on the family photo, he decided to be himself. Secretary Kim knelt down before Si-in-woo, and admitted that he saw Won-soo ended her life, even though Si-in-woo knew it was Won-soo. He still found it hard to believe. Won-soo was his uncle whom he trusted a lot. He swore to make the culprit pay for his sin. Even Sara couldn't stop him. When he came to find Won-soo in anger, Won-soo took sleeping pills to end his own life. He had left a suicide note confessing his crime. Fortunately, Si-in-woo could save his life, and he realized something was wrong. Next to the sleeping pills was a jar of antihypertensive. Why would a person who wanted to end his life still cared about his health? So he went to see Gwang Ki. The blood results said he did take antihypertensive. It was a murder, not a suicide. He entrusted Detective Han to investigate the truth behind his mother's death 20 years ago. At the same time, he revealed it to Secretary Kim. Si-in-woo smelled something fishy from Kim's attitude. Thus, he ordered Hong to take his hair for a DNA test, and made sure that Kim saw it. Thus, if Kim was a murderer, he would definitely take an action. To help Si-in-woo let off steam, everyone decided to go for a camping. When Gwang Ki called Si-in-woo, he thought he made a progress. He and Jin Mo answered the call together. They saw a man in black coming near. At first glance, he looked like a professional assassin. Luckily, both Jin Mo and Si-in-woo could defend themselves. They began a fight. Sara happened to see them from the top of the hill. She went there to help them, and noticed Secretary Kim was watching them from afar through binoculars. The moment they looked at each other, Sara realized that she had actually seen him before. At this point in time, she regained her lost memories. When she was small, she saw him taking the life of Si-in-woo's mother. Si-in-woo and Jin Mo couldn't defeat a professional assassin. Detective Han appeared to save them. Waiting until Si-in-woo calmed down, Sara told him about her memories. She felt very regretful for not rushing to save his mother at that time. They took Sara back to the secret base to stabilize her emotions. The rest of them went to arrest Kim. However, he had fled away without leaving a trace. Actually, he was in Si-in-woo's hidden place. He planned to get rid of Sara. The only witness of his crime, when he strangled her neck, she said it was meaningless to eliminate her as she told them everything. He then changed his mind. Kim kidnapped Sara to threaten Si-in-woo and take both of their lives at once. There would be nothing to worry about. Kim let Si-in-woo know that he was keeping Sara. Si-in-woo was asked to come alone, otherwise, Sara would lost her life. For Sara's safety, Si-in-woo could only follow the order. However, he didn't see her at the place where he was asked to come. Si-in-woo beat Kim up. When Kim was knocked out, he threatened Si-in-woo with a remote control. Si-in-woo took a few steps back. Secretary Kim let Si-in-woo see that Sara was tied up with a bomb. If Si-in-woo didn't listen to him, he would explode the bomb. Si-in-woo finally let Kim dust his coast. Until he felt enough, he required Si-in-woo to kneel down and beg him. Kim was so excited when Si-in-woo was on his knees, relying on her power. Sara stood up and jumped step by step. She accidentally tripped and dropped the bomb cap. Meanwhile, Kim told Si-in-woo how he took his mother's life. Losing his mind, Si-in-woo fought Kim back. He lost control of himself when Kim pushed his anger to the limit. Yet, Kim gave him a kick and strangled his neck. At a crucial moment, Sara picked up a rock and hit Secretary Kim's head. She cut the wire of the bomb to save herself. On the mirror, she could see the cut of the wires. With a brave spirit, she used a scissor to cut it off. Sure enough, she was extremely precise and the bomb was deactivated. Then she came to save Si-in-woo. Secretary Kim was finally arrested. Si-in-woo hugged Sara tightly. After 20 years, he finally caught the real culprit who finished off his mother. Another woman appeared in his life who deserved his life and care. He gave Sara the most precious necklace he had, because this was a gift his mother gave him. Sara was very touched. Si-in-woo took her to his parents' ashes and introduced her as his wife. They would be very happy together for sure. He had the first vacation after 20 years. Together, they had a carefree life. Eventually, Si-in-woo decided to found a club of detectives. Thanks for watching. See you next time.